On what started as a typical summer afternoon, Kyle had plans to meet up with friends for a hike. However, their last-minute cancellation didn't deter him. Unwilling to waste a beautiful evening indoors, he decided to embark on the hike alone. He disliked being confined indoors, especially on such a pleasant evening. Packing his gear, he headed to his favorite trail, confident he could complete it and return home before nightfall. The prospect of being in the woods after sunset was unappealing to him, so he wasted no time in setting off. The hike began with more difficulty than usual, which Kyle attributed to the long day at work. Nonetheless, he relished the opportunity to breathe in the fresh air and immerse himself in nature. About 20 minutes into his trek, a sound unlike any he had heard before sent shivers down his spine, a strange mix of grunting and whining echoing in the distance. Despite seeing only the swaying of the tall, ancient trees in the wind, Kyle heightened his vigilance, wary of potential danger. As he continued, the unsettling noise grew louder, indicating that whatever was producing it remained stationary while he drew nearer. Perplexed by the invisible source, Kyle pressed on, hoping to leave the eerie sound behind. Eventually, the noise ceased, momentarily easing his tension. Little did he know, the true threat was yet to reveal itself. Just after passing a large, gnarled oak tree, the sound returned, this time seemingly right beside him. Kyle spun around, scanning his surroundings, yet still found nothing visible. Focusing on controlling his breathing, he strategized the quickest route home, determined to leave the mysterious noise behind. While surveying his surroundings, Kyle noticed something that had previously escaped his attention: a sizable alcove within the massive oak tree he had recently passed. Such features were not uncommon in ancient trees, yet this particular alcove intrigued him. Sensing an air of significance about it, Kyle cautiously approached, prepared for any sudden movements or threats, but none materialized. Instead, the unsettling grunts and whines that had punctuated his hike seemed to emanate from within the hollow. The sounds filled Kyle with a sense of foreboding. With a rational mindset, Kyle decided to alert the authorities. It was evident that whatever was inside the alcove required assistance beyond his capability, and the authorities were better equipped to handle the situation. As the authorities arrived on the scene, Kyle eagerly awaited their arrival at the forest's edge, ready to guide them to the source of the mysterious noise. Accompanying him were two members of animal control, initially skeptical about Kyle's account of the unsettling sounds emanating from the tree. However, their doubts quickly dissolved as the eerie echoes of grunts and whines became audible during their hike towards the oak tree. Arriving at the scene as dusk approached, the officers ensured they had sufficient lighting to illuminate the area. Kyle positioned himself at a safe distance from the tree, anxious to witness the unfolding events. With caution, the officers approached the tree, their tension palpable as they drew closer. One officer wielded a powerful torch, directing its beam into the depths of the alcove in search of the source of the noise. The intense light not only served to aid their investigation, but also acted as a precaution against any potential threats lurking within. As they cautiously peered into the depths of the hole, the officers and Kyle were met with an unexpected sight that elicited gasps of disbelief and astonishment. One officer audibly gasped while the other exclaimed, "No way!" Kyle, filled with a mixture of anticipation and fear, remained rooted to the spot, desperate to see what lay within. Then, turning to Kyle, one officer exclaimed, "It's a dog." Kyle's shock gave way to a sense of relief, though questions immediately flooded his mind. Just a dog? But how? What would a dog be doing all the way out here? It's very unusual. With the aid of a rope, they carefully maneuvered a loop down the hole, intending to secure it around the dog's neck and leg before hoisting it to safety. After successfully extracting the dog from the depths of the tree, they discovered that it had sustained a broken leg, explaining the distressing noises they had heard. Relieved to have rescued the stranded canine, they wrapped it in a safety blanket and transported it to their van for further care. Kyle couldn't help but feel a twinge of embarrassment for his initial fear upon hearing the dog's cries in the woods. The unique acoustics of the deep alcove had distorted the dog's sounds, making them appear more menacing than they truly were. On their journey back, the men discussed the strange circumstances surrounding the dog's ordeal. One officer mentioned a nagging feeling that he had seen the dog somewhere before, though he couldn't pinpoint where. Upon reaching their vehicle, Kyle expressed his gratitude to the officers before heading home, feeling thoroughly drained. Over the following week, Kyle couldn't shake the thought of the dog from his mind. He wondered about its condition and how it had ended up in such a peculiar situation. By the following Thursday, his curiosity got the better of him, prompting him to contact Animal Control for an update on the dog's well-being. To Kyle's amazement, the officers were delighted to hear from him and eager to share the latest developments. It turned out their instincts had been correct. One of the officers had recognized the dog from a missing pet flyer that a young girl had been distributing around town. The dog had been startled by a passing truck while out for a walk with the girl, prompting him to flee into the nearby woods. Despite their efforts, the girl and her father were unable to locate their beloved dog, who had seemingly vanished into thin air. Unbeknownst to them, the dog had fallen into the alcove and become trapped. Thankfully, Kyle happened upon the scene when he did, providing a stroke of luck for the lost canine. Upon discovering the dog's status as a missing pet, the officers promptly contacted the owners and reunited them with their furry companion. The little girl was overjoyed to be reunited with her beloved dog, despite his injuries. Kyle was thrilled to have played a part in bringing them back together.